lang. Nakarecord na ba? Go!
Okay, so hello and good day to all. Welcome to our talk show where we're going to talk about our current issues that we are currently facing, especially with social media being prevalent in our society today. So, with the upcoming elections, fake news is rampant everywhere. And with that, we have our speakers with us. We have Mr. Rinjaco Balgos, Miss Janena Barido, Mr. Tyrone Hassan, and Miss Carmila Valenzuela. And I will be your host for today, Denise Lisandra. Okay, so moving on for our first question, Mr. Balgos, why do you think fake news exists in social media?
So these fake news are pieces of information that do not contain truthfulness and about the subject. So fake news exists in social media because the author or maker wants to damage the personality of a subject or a group that will feed their point of interest. And we know that the scope of social media is large. Um, It contains millions of audiences that can be mind manipulated. And but happily for the Filipinos, only 1 out of 10 are being victimized by these fake news, according to Post Asia survey.
Okay, so why do you think fake news is prevalent in social media, Mr.
Um,
Balgos?
Fake news is prevalent in social media because social media had lots of users, not only in our country, but also worldwide. So basically, social media is a perfect place to bring out fake news, as other people tends to make social media as their primary source of information. Some may believe what they see on Facebook or in Twitter or Instagram without looking who are the authors or makers of it, if it is reliable or not.
Okay, so Miss Barido, what about you? Why do you think fake news exists in social media?
As we all know, fake news is fabricated information circulating on the news media and even in social media with the intention of giving misinformation and deceiving the readers. So as what Mr. Baldos have mentioned, it is designed to manipulate and change one's perception, views, and opinion by fabricating the ideas. So for example, in today's recent events like the ano presidential candidates campaigning. So as what we have observed in social medias, some of their fans have been circulating fake news and they
Okay.
aim to tear down the reputation of the other candidates. So because of the lack of their informations, many people would then believe the news and spreads it without checking the facts.
Okay, so why do you think fake news is prevalent in social media?
So, fake news becomes prevalent in social media by constantly shared by one person to another. So, in fact,
Okay.
fake news spreads like a wildfire in the social media. So, for example, so for example, I read or encounters a false information and then I would then think that it is true without checking if it is correct or not. Then I would share then it, and then actually some people would then encounters it and then they would share it and then it becomes ano it would then spread to everyone.
Oo, bitaw 'no, because in social media daghan mga naga-share-share na pataka lang, tanaw lang, ano
uh,
ang
Without
ilahang
check.
title tapos wala na tan-awon, 'di ba? Okay, so for
Yeah.
next question, Mr. Hoson, for you, how does the media manipulate people's decisions regarding the election?
So, media can manipulate people decisions during election by posting information about certain candidate. These informations can be fake or real. It is up to the users, kita. It is up to us to dig deeper on the given information. So, example of this is when a specific media outlet posts something about the candidate, such as achievements. So this might intrigue people, so they will dig deeper to that information, and if they like what they see, like the platform of the candidate, so they there's a person that they will vote for that candidate because they are interested on that platform. So in a way, in that way, media has manipulate people.
Okay, so as for you, Miss Valenzuela, what is your view on this?
For me, the media manipulates people's decisions regarding this election. Well, my idea is more on the negative side of the effect of the manipulation. Well, yeah, Josen said about like more like positive because it can uh, help him decide on his choice to choose his own candidate. But for me, I will focus more on the negative side. And yeah, but this media manipulates the decision of people regarding this election by showing the information that would benefit their chosen candidates. So it's often biased, and this information, as Barito said, that it spreads like wildfire. And yeah, they both, Balgas and Barito said that a lot of people usually don't do fact checking, so they just believe the information that was shown to them. And speaking of elections, uh, personally, uh, I only see famous candidates in social media like Marcus Lenny, Ping, and Isko, and I barely see the other candidates. So I think that it's hard to rely on information that you can get on social media. It's limited and biased. So if you don't take time looking for reliable sources that would show every details, every candidates, you will have a high chance of being manipulated by the media.
Okay, so pag naadjud kay kwarta no, didto adjud ka mas musikat no? Kay mao man ay pirmi makakwartang mag-advertisement, sige. So, okay, for you again, Mr. Hassan, from what you've seen and read from social media, has it affected your decision in choosing candidates, specifically presidential candidates?
Mm, in a way, media manipulated me in choosing my presidential candidates because um, media is one of the way that candidates communicate to the people. It's where they post their platforms. It's where their story that we can let's say we can read information about them on media. So by this, so hindi lang dapat ta magsalig sa mga information na nasa media. We should also look for sources na nag-back at tong information na to. If that's true or fake. So yeah, media has manipulated me in a way in choosing my presidential candidate.
Okay, and what about you, Mr. Belgos? Has it influenced you in any way?
From what I have seen and read from social media, and also being a literate in checking reliable sources, so only somehow it affects my decision in choosing the candidate because social media may also contain real news, somehow fake news. So, but I regularly check it and I do some background check in the candidates, their affiliations and achievements. So, um, therefore, somehow media can affect my decision.
Okay, okay, okay. So moving on, Miss Valenzuela, how often do you come across fake news and what do you do about it?
Mm, I frequently come across fake news because I pass my time like scrolling on social media. And what do I do about it? To be honest, I just ignore it because like there are a lot of information there and it just doesn't spark my interest. Well, some information doesn't spark my interest. Knowing that there are a lot of people using social media, Facebook, for example, has more than 2 billion uh, people users. So, like, it's quite inevitable for me to stop the spread of fake news. And yeah, unless if the system restrict these types of information, so I don't think we can stop spreading the fake news.
Okay, so Miss Barido, what about you and what do you do about fake news that you encounter?
So, with today na permi ta kanunay sa ano no, social media like for example, Facebook, TikTok and Twitter. So,
True.
we always come across jud with fake news. So, for example, ang uban gani very accurate na anyone could be deceived with it. Then, as what I have observed po, di ba, with today's event, di ba, mag-campaign, di ba, sige, I mean, like, mm, di ba, buhat sila og fake news and then they do it para isiraan ang ilahang kaaway. So, this, for example, I encountered that kind of fake news. I would first check if it is correct, and then I would ask someone that is knowledgeable enough about the issue if what they think about it, if it is true or not. So actually, we can stop or we can prevent spreading of fake news. Like for example, we educate them by commenting in that post na it is wrong. They are spreading a fake news. So in that way, we can educate them, and at the same time, we can lessen and stop the spread of fake news.
Okay, as for Miss Valenzuela again, on what platform is news usually proliferated?
Well, as stated by Janena Barrido, yeah, social media like Facebook, Twitter, or other platforms can spread a lot of false information or fake news, and ah, as well as like TikTok and YouTube, because I notice a lot of people cut videos and then like edit it, and then
True,
they will
true.
create new meaning to it, and then yeah, those people in that video will get misunderstood and misinterpreted by a lot, so it's quite scary. Yeah.
Oh, it is usually taken out of context, 'di ba, no? Tapos yan ang makaspread ng misinformation. Okay,
Yes.
so for Miss Barido, how can you identify something as fake news?
So, in order for us to identify a fake news, we should always check first kung credible or reliable ba ang source na gikuhaan ato nga information. So, by researching in the internet like Google, very uh, available man ang Google for us to research if it is true or not, and then or by simply checking the comments of that article or a Facebook post. Actually, some people would correct that kind of article if it is correct, di ba?
Yes.
Okay, so true jud ano. Naana jud uban na na daan, mag fact check na daw niya. Mas dali na makakabalo kung fake news ba siya or dili, 'di ba?
Yes.
Okay, so we now have our last question for our talk show. We have our last question for Mr. Hoson and Mr. Balgos. So, Mr. Hoson, do you think it is justifiable to use media to manipulate people, and why?
For me, it depends. It's not a question on is it justifiable ba? Rather, it should answer the question on why is it justifiable to manipulate people? For
Mm-mm.
in recent events, we know the war in Europe, di ba? The Russia versus Ukraine. So
Yes,
Russian
yes.
media outlets saying that they are successful in invading Ukraine, whilst on the other hand, Ukraine media are saying that they are defending. So in that way, they are manipulating the citizens for their own good. Um, for their own good. So especially in Ukraine, they have to manipulate the people, manipulate the people so that the moral of the people is not down gani work ana. So
Mm-mm. Okay, so what about you, Mr. Balgos? Do you think it is justifiable?
So for me, of course not. Manipulating people's mind using social media is not that justifiable. So because it will take advantage to those people who are not literate enough in checking fake news to the real ones, in which it will result to a higher level of social chaos. So thus we need to educate more people about media literacy, because we are living now in a world of technology, and social media are one of the sources that we are getting. So yan po.
Okay, so maura jud to tanan no, dili gyud dapat dili jud dapat ta magpabiktima sa fake news, kay mao na jud nay rampant jud karon, mo na magsigira jud tag fact check, di ta magpatakag yaw-yaw kay kamuray mabash ana in taon. Okay.
Yes.
So we have learned a lot from our speakers, their different perspectives from our speakers. So I hope our viewers have also learned a lot as well, and you can form your own opinions and arguments using information that you have acquired from this talk show. So thank you for watching and have a nice day. I hope to see you soon all later.
Like and subscribe. Uy.